Hey guys, it's Mike here. So after this last tactical games at the Ben Avery Range in Phoenix, I started thinking about how everything went, how the events went. It's my second tactical games that I've completed, and I took a lot of mental notes in the first one, and I tend to run through things mentally. But I just kept thinking, man, I really need something objective to get down on paper. Actually look at and mull over. So I decided to put some information into my into a super high speed Excel table here, but I just needed something to look at in order to see if any patterns emerged. So what I did was I put the event name here on the left hand side, the place that I got in each one. In this movement column, I've got not necessarily a comprehensive list of all the movements, but the kind of like the distinguishing movements of that event, or the movements that I would have had a hardest time with. For the shooting column, again, this is not totally comprehensive of a shooting description, but if you want a more detailed breakdown of those, I know Jacob Hepner is doing a really detailed breakdown of each of these events on his account, Hepner Firearms, so you can definitely check that out. And then I just put, the total number of rifle rounds, pistol rounds, and then I just did a simple ratio of pistol rounds to rifle rounds to see if there's any correlation between that number and my placing. And the reason I did that was, for some reason, I just felt like my rifle shooting was way off. I had some issues with my optic. I made some super amateur mistakes, and so I wanted to see if events that had a favor towards rifle rounds would cause me to place lower. So yeah, if you look, that actually doesn't seem to be the case, which is kind of interesting. That's why I wanted to do that, because sometimes how you perceive your performance to be, especially in a stressful sport like the tactical games, your perception isn't always accurate when your heart rate is at 180. So I just kind of looked at this and I thought, man, what's really the story here? There's no correlation between pistol rifle rounds and my placings. There wasn't really a trend. I mean, I guess I trended a little bit lower as the weekend went on, but nothing really stood out super clearly until I thought about kind of the kind of athlete I am. I've been an endurance athlete for a long time, and strength, as odd as it sounds, has kind of been a weakness, but I've been getting a lot better at it this year. And then I noticed that my three worst placings, 9, 10, 10 here, all had really heavy implements in the physical portion. Well, heavy for me. So there was some heavy sandbag carries. In Grand Canyon here, there was a heavy farmer's carry, and Route 66. The stress carries weren't too heavy, but this heavy sled pull seated definitely did a number on my grip, and that can definitely diminish your ability to shoot accurately. And then once I noticed that, I thought, okay, all right, that makes sense now, because a kit run, light farmers carries, axle bar carries, these kinds of things I can do a lot of, and my system isn't going to be too shocked. But if I do some real heavy carries, even though I'm getting better at them, I was able to stay unbroken on these heavy pieces. I was able to complete them, which is really good for me. It raises the question of the price you pay physically to complete that heavy implement, in what state you arrive at the firing line in. So, maybe I did go unbroken on that heavy farmer's carry, for example, in Grand Canyon, but what did that do to my grip when I got to the firing line to shoot? So yeah, this is just something I'm playing around with, just trying to get better at analyzing my performance after these things, seeing how I can improve. And I'm really curious how other guys out there doing the tactical games like to do these sort of kind of after action reports after a weekend. the tactical games. So if this is helpful to you at all, let me know. If you have a completely different way of doing this, I'd love it if you could share. I'm just really curious how guys are doing this, or if you're just running and gunning and showing up and just seeing what happens, which I definitely did the first time. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for your time, and let me know what you think.